What's a word above magnanimous?
Astronomical.
Astronomical. My brain is working. Anyway,
Herculean?
Listen. No!
You can't say that.
No.
Golden Boy's the only. Make it to New York City, one of the original favorites, the first to play aggressive, and he goes to work here with the uncommon tech, a one-man wrecking crew, slaying his way into the top 5, getting every placement point available except the victory royale, getting slacks right there, but it wouldn't end up being enough. He gets taken down, but 93 points. However, Rokane right here on the high ground has his partner left. Look what's happening on the low ground. It's a 2v1v1. Hart gets the elim onto Zextro, but then gets picked up, and that is going to end up being huge. Hart, and more importantly, he needed every single time, and see where everything fell out. These are the final players moving on from NA East. Wow. It is Slacks and Keys, Zextro and Vinny, and then the young Calc. This match right here, this is the one we just talked about. This was 89 points going through. The tiebreaker came down to victory royales. The difference, Calculator and Macwood had four victory royales.
Wow.
To BHEG's and Hart's 3. If Hart had gotten one elim in that 2v1, if he had gotten anything more out of that situation, they would be going to New York City. Instead, Calculator and Macwood, with one of the most dominant placement-heavy performances we have seen so far, booking their spot. A huge shout-out, Slacks and Keys. They've been up there every single week, semifinals and finals challenging. And an even bigger shout-out right now to TSM Zextro. Vinny, you're fantastic as well, but Zextro, battling through the wrist injury, not playing through a large portion, taking months off because he couldn't physically move his arm and was struggling to go through, playing Fortnite hurt, to then get on the grind and have an individual performance like that on this stage in the final week. That is clutch. That is the definition, and that is the reason they'll be going to New York City.
There you go. You know, of course, speaking of going to New York, I think we have to punch their tickets. Like, what are they? Punching the tickets. got me. All right, now, of course, we've got our first list. We got to add our competitors. Here we go. Boop. Got them. Slacks and Keys. If you want to handle this one, I'll handle this one over here.
Congratulations, Zextro and Vinny. Also, you need better synergy right there. Underscore and dot. Come on.
Wait, pretend I touched it and it came up. That's how this works. And finally, Calculator and Macwood, congratulations. Now, of course, we've got one duo spot left. This list of names is already incredibly stacked to think there's going to be a single duo coming out of NA West.
And it all comes down to this. Like we say all the time in terms of every interaction mattering, but now we've seen the rest of the field. All the other regions are done. Thank you so much for your 10 weeks, but now, if you're not going, you are a spectator until the trios competition on July 14th and 15th. Make sure you go find a trio. Don't try and cause any too much drama there. You know who I'm talking about. But with that being said, just make sure, I know Bala just cracked up in the back.
Oh, God.
We have one more region left. It's NA West. Right now, we're going to go take a 30-minute break. So what you need to do, go take your dog on a walk, get some dinner, get some exercise, hydrate, eat your vegetables, as Shao Wager would say. We're going to go get some food as well. We'll be back in 30 minutes.
Let's fly down to the lobby. Let's fly down to the lobby to get your squad some nums.
Burgers from dirt to munch.
Tacos royale with brunch. Red juices, a tasty treat for Lil Whip, Peely, and Pizza Pete. Let's fly down to the lobby to get your squad some nums. Let's fly down to the lobby. Get your squad some love.
محرق ذا ب4 بطولة يا محرق ما يموت وهذا بس شوف شو يخلط مبنك محرق مبنك حتى عدو مبنك ولا البناية بناية محرقين هذا أعطيهم عين يا معرق ولا تعرق انت الاعرق انت المعرق هذا مبنق ولا معرق ولا بناية ولا ايش سالفته خويه اجانب يا اخي يعطونا عين وانه ما يبون نعطيهم حيوانات يا اخي معرق لا تعرق انت الافضل انت الاعرق يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق شو معرق يا ولد نبي بنقع سيرفرات يا ولد سيرفرات سيرفرات يا اخي سيرفرات نبي سيرفرات معرق يا اخي معرق يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق عرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت معرق يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق واحد بالجيم ذابح 8 بطولة يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق ذابح 8 معرق بطولة المعرق يا معرق لا تعرق عرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت الاعرق يا معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت لجلد معرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت معرق يا معرق لا تعرق لا شوف ذكاء ولد معرقين يا اخي حمونا يا معرقين يا اخي حتى انتم معرقين انا عندكم سيرفرات يا معرقين عرق لا تعرق انت الاعرق انت معرق
Thank you so much everyone here in the Forum in LA. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Creative Showdown. How you feeling today? So much has happened in the world of Fortnite, and we are here about to call probably one of the craziest things you're ever going to see. It's a world premiere game mode and map.
I know that it's going to be a King of the Hill mode.
Forum, make some noise. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. The first match. Jordan Fisher, he's in the corner. They're going to win the game. This is it. And they pick it up. They have to protect him here, and this is now we're going to start to earn a lot of points. They're climbing that leaderboard.
Oh wow!
In the shadows, unseen, and they will have the Ravens' revenge. GG. 2 minutes left on the clock. The Chicken Champions, surely this is going to be a win for them. No!
One point! It's 1 point
remaining! And the Little Whip Warriors might be able to come back into this with enough time. But there he goes. He jumps right back in. And that is going to do it. GG! Game 3 goes to the Chicken Champions.
Every single person to keep in mind, there's a ton of stuff going on here, not just Fortnite. It's just a good time all around, man. Look at him, just dancing it out, sitting inside the control point, 6 minutes remaining, but it's not even gonna matter. That's a victory.
ولد طور جديد رهيب شكله.
Goes to the fish fan.
Could it happen? Could the Llama Record Company be our first back-to-back champion, or will it be the Fish Fam actually being back-to-back in this instance?
He has it. You see the top middle of the D.
He does it!
He got it!
Oh
Last
my!
second! The victory royale!
He's still in it. He's standing strong, and he wins out on the battle. 990, and he's continuing to gain. He's got to get to that wall, and that's gonna do it.
تبي تدخل
You wanna know
بطولات؟
who won?
شوف الحين أعلمك شلون تدخل.
The Llama Record Company.
طالع. شوف أول ما تسوي كذي تضغط R2 بعدين يحط لك كذي انطر شوي. شفت البث الفيديو في قيد التحميل انطر اللي تحت بعدين لما يطلع مربع اضغط انطر شوية بس عرفت. إذا تبي تدخل بطولات ادخل شو اسمه نقاطك تصير 300 عادي إذا تبي. أنا نقاطي خلينا نشوف 300 أقصد 243 بس أنا بحط البطولات عشان تشوفون. تيش يلا مربع أتخليكم.
It shoots pretty far. You can almost use it as an AR at the beginning game just to get one shot. It'll hit for like 80, 90 in the body.
And this is looking really good for Horrify, but the Flintlock is going to get the high ground. Nikiva, such a smart player.
The Flintlock is a common and uncommon weapon that uses heavy ammunition. It does 86 or 90 damage depending on rarity, and it has a 2 times headshot multiplier. This means that outside of a sniper rifle, it has the highest single shot damage potential in the game. However, the Flintlock only allows
بس
for
اما
one
البطولات
shot
اللي
at a
راح
time,
اتوقع
has pretty
خلصت
decent
البطولات
damage
اللي
fall
يعني
off,
تصير
and also
نقاطك
takes
300
3 seconds to
الحين
reload.
مشوان شوف ارجع
In
البث
addition to all of
شوف
this, the
يوم
Flintlock also
كانت
has a
البثوث
mobility
اللي
component to it.
يعني
When
البطولات اللي
fired,
نقاطها
it will
300
impulse
الحين
the
خلص
shooter
الحين
backwards,
دور اللي
and if the bullet
100
strikes the
شخص يعني
target,
مشاهير
it will
وكذي
impulse
عرفت
the target
خلص
away from the shooter.
الحين انا انطر
This can
يعني
allow for
اشوف
some tricky
البطولات الحين
plays to be made.
المشاهير شفت البث من الاول للاخير للحين هذا لقطات من
We've seen a
كان
decent amount of use
نقاط
out
من
of the
300 اللي
Flintlock during
فاتوا.
the Fortnite World Cup online open qualifiers. So let's hear from some of the qualified players to get their opinion on its addition to the game.
If I'm low on HP and I have to choose one weapon, it will be this one. You can actually like kill someone from 200 HP to 0 without taking any shots.
And it's also really good for competitive play because if you're high ground or if you want to get away from a situation, the Flintlock, when you use it, it knocks you some distance so you can get away or you can get high ground over someone. I think it just adds a
مو
lot of like
تقعد
different
شو
plays
اسمه
you
إذا
can make
قد
with it. I think
قعدت
it's good.
تطرد اللي شو اسمه موجودين بالبث راح أشيل إشرف على طول وأطرد فرزت أوكي. أصبحت أنا مشرفا على قناتك يلا أعطيتك
It's just the kind of weapon we need more.
I definitely think it's one of the better things that have been added skill-wise. I like that it's so versatile.
شوف أنا يعني إن شاء الله إذا دخلوا ناس وكذي وقاموا يسبون اطردهم.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully you saw how the
أو إذا
Flintlock
تبي
can
تطلع
be
كيف
utilized in the
ما
right
أدري أحس
hands.
البث نايم بس قاعد طالع
What is the
البطولات.
best Flintlock play you've done or seen? Share it with us using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup, and we'll be seeing you guys on the battle bus, or maybe Flintlocking through the air. The final duo spot will come out of NA West, and who will be able to put their name in among the best of the best out of the West. A lot of momentum. WBG's Rux and Pika, who have now both qualified for solos, and Pika had another outstanding performance in
خذ
week
راحتك
9.
عاد إذا تبي تشوف أو
Finally, make sure to keep your eyes
أو
peeled
تكتب.
on FlyQuest Edgy and Liquid Scented, as they both
وأنا ما
have been
أعطي نفس النيوت
absurdly
عشان
close
يعني يطلعون.
in so many circumstances. They will be gunning for the final spot and a chance to be on that stage in New York City. Who will be the last best of the West and the final duo pairing to qualify for the Fortnite World Cup final? Let's find out.
Welcome back to the final week of the Fortnite World Cup Online Open. We're getting ready to hop
into our final region and find out who will claim that last spot in NA West. I'm Bala TW, and I'm going to be bringing you guys and driving you guys back in the action, starting with the schedule. So let's catch up on what we saw and where we're going right now. We're going towards NA West. We already had Oceania, Asia wrap up this morning earlier on. Then we moved into Europe. We caught the tail end of that. We then hopped into a couple of Brazil games, but then moved into NA East. We just saw the epic conclusion of that, where Vinny and Zexro and a number of other people have qualified through. And then finally, we're ending here with NA West, the final region for the Fortnite World Cup Online Open. How are these guys earning their points? Well, they are playing over the course of 3 hours, which we just saw, and trying to play a total of 10 matches. And in those matches, they are earning points by both getting placements and eliminations.
اي والله ادري مرقين بس شوف الحين اقعدوا طالعوا كذي انا اقعد طالعوا انا بعطي نفس ميوزع طالع البطولة.
The next threshold is top 10 for a total of 5 points, and the next threshold is top 5 for a total of 7, and then of course the Victory Royale will earn you 3 more points for a total of 10. Now, what are these guys all playing for? Well, not only the spots, but their share of $2 million spread across all the region. Of course, NA West competing for a portion of that, but they are getting, this prize is going to all the players split throughout the region. And of course, the qualifying spots. We have one more qualifying
شوف الحيوانات المشوان اللي عنده اللي 300 نقطة البطولات اللي يفوز يعطونه شو اسمه أول المركز الأول 20 المركز الثاني 15 يعني 20,000 المركز الثاني 15 كذي هم أول 10 يلهم هذا أقل واحد المركز العاشر له $4,000 عرفت أما الحين أما المشاهير لا مليونين اللي يفوز.
What's up guys? Congratulations, you're going to New York City.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more happier for you guys. I've been following you all the way through. Macwood, you've had quite an impressive, growth throughout the entire thing. I just got to ask, it's the first thing we always ask, what is your reaction to qualifying? What was the first thing you guys did? Macwood, I'll start with you.
I mean, I called my mom and my dad. They were both on the verge of crying. I mean, it's incredible. It's like we are the two, some of the most consistent players that haven't qualified for the Fortnite World Cup, and we've been doing it for 5 days. So I hit up Calc and I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. And for the last week, and we did it. So I'm just so thankful.
Calc, I mean, he just said it 5 days. This has got to be like, it can't be a surprise. You guys know how good you are, clearly. But 5 days of practice with your duo. What happened after you qualified? What was going through your head?
I was very excited, and my mom didn't believe me. I called her, and she said I'm lying. So...
Well, there you
on
go.
live stream too.
All right, Calc, Mac, come on, we know each other. Like, are you hyped or are you hyped, man? Like, we were talking for weeks.
There you go.
Every week, back to back.
I am hyped.
We've gone through like highs and lows. You guys have qualled, not qualled, man. Like, in the moment, that last game, what's going through your mind? Like that very last game, boys. Like seriously.
I mean, we queued at the perfect time. We got a decent, pretty easy lobby. We queued on one of the hot drop games, and we got to Pleasant. We actually got it unlooted, and we decided that, hey, if we don't get kills here, we are not going to qualify, because we knew we were aiming for 90 points and we got just 89, but we had those 4 wins. So I was like, in those end games, we were on high ground and we were like, hey man, we got to slay out. Like, we have to, like, it's now or never. And then I don't know, it's just I wasn't really nervous, but I mean, it was kind of going through my head.
I was nervous at the beginning, but then as we kept going through, I stopped getting less and less nervous.
Now, Calc, you've had, like, not a rocky relationship, but you've had a very unique relationship with that Fortnite community. Do you think that there's a new level of respect for that young Calc, word out there on the streets? Like, how do you feel right now? Like, how ecstatic do you feel in terms of recognition?
I am so excited. I am so happy.
We don't need to boost his ego anymore. None of that.
Slightly, a little bit of boost of that ego, because you are going to New York, so we're going to see you there. But I do want to give you guys one more chance to, shout anything out you want, and also your socials. Make sure you get those plugs in there. Calculator, we'll start with you.
Follow
_Calc on Twitter. Macwood, what's up?
My Twitch is COL Macwood, and then my Twitter is @COL_Macwood.
Well, there you have it, guys. We will see you in New York, and as we always say, we'll have to grab a slice. But thank you so much, and congratulations. We'll see you there. we have NA West up on deck. Guys, thank you so much for that interview. But this is going to be the last spot up for grab, Shy, and we're going to go ahead and take a sneak peek at the standings that are currently unfolding because the action is underway. So here it is, and again, I mean, time and time again, it's always Arkham and Falconer on top, but then the rest of these guys are all fighting because Arkham and Falconer have already qualified. And the rest of these guys as well. Landrock and Punisher, all of a sudden they're on West, but again, they've already qualified too. So the rest of these guys playing for that one spot.
What I find really interesting is Epic Will is actually doing with 40 Storm. Usually it's him and Sealmat, right? All there side by side. So everyone's switching up for week 10. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how things get down, break down. And I'm excited to get going.
I mean, that's the kind of staple duos of NA West right now are well, splitting up at the same time. Epic Will normally playing with Sealmat. Here at 40 Storm, they both actually qualified in solos. So this switch could be an opportunity to triple qualify. I mean, in week 8, they have been playing out of their mind. It's crazy. We saw Aiden and Sean qualify, but the rest of these guys as well, Kayun and Takata, had such an amazing run throughout the rest of the weeks. But I mean, I think we want to get in the action because we just kicked up the dust. I want to see who's standing when all is said and done, when that dust is settled. So we are going to have Shayo joining the cast, and of course, Pookie on the other side. Guys, the stakes are set, and the floor is yours.
Awesome.
Stakes are set, Bala. We are about to hop in to our first set of NA West games. Shy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, pretty hyped. It's been a fun time. I'm excited to see how the West Brawl goes down. Excited to cast with you as well. So we can get right to it. Games are ready. I'm excited to hop in. Let's jump on that battle bus.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Now, hilariously enough, Shy and I were talking a little bit earlier in our little caster room that, you know, Zeke likes to just, you know, hog for himself, take up all the space on the couch. But we were talking and we realized that we actually live within 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's a small world and a fun world as well. So, you know, content coming out on the
Content is going to be created. We can tell you that much. But here we are taking a look at some content here coming out of Jacob and his partner, Dizzle. They are on the edge of shifty shafts here, holding very good high ground, using that advantage to rain down shots on their opponents.
Absolutely. Look at their classic loadout as well. Looks like it's a nice heavy sniper Scar combat in there. Not many new items up in the mix. We've got the classic minis. Looks like they might have not found any chug splashes for them, as I think that's really strong. One thing to point out as well is 6 elims on Dizzle and then 4 on Jacob. That's 10 total at the moment, and we're just getting into that 5th zone closing. About 2 hours left on NA West. So it's going to be very exciting to see who qualifies with that one spot for this region.
Yeah, and there we see Jacob taking a perfect shot with a heavy sniper there, taking out Sinnoh like it's nobody's business. Now, he is going to have to be careful here. He is taking a little bit of time to peek, but it doesn't matter. He did pick up that elimination there.
That's an international snipe, as Sinnoh's usually playing on those Asian servers, switching over to West just to get a better chance of popping off, as the region is a lot more aggressive and consistent at most times. Aim backup goes down. Could not find that hard drive to pick up the aim or game sense in that situation. A big bop coming in. Dizzle catching his builds open, going for that finish. Smart plays. Is it possible? White health getting hit on the storm line. Backup finally goes down. Dizzle picks up that elimination.
And nobody punishing these guys right now, Shy. They're on ultimate high ground, just standing out in the open, just exposing themselves, raining down shots, and nobody is wanting to really punish them for these actions right now. You can see Dizzle taking a ton of time to peek. It is kind of a rough angle, but there are so many players across the river over there that would have the freest of shots on them right now, but it doesn't matter. Dizzle comes out with another heavy snipe. Dizzle and Jacob just going to town with these heavy snipe shots.
Absolute marksman here. He hasn't actually missed, I don't think. The last 3 shots all intended to go exactly on target. That elimination getting picked up. He's not going to be in the air. 13 total elims for these guys across the board, and they find high ground to connect to as well, giving them the next best position for the next zone moving in. The 6th zone being one of those zones where if you have control and you retain control with a little bit of space, you can just run away with the whole game.
And Dizzle recognizing that and playing that perfectly, trading just 10 health and utilizing his builds to reinforce the high ground there. Does get dropped down a little, but is going to still be an ultimate high ground. Jacob, his partner, is just below him, a few tiles down, but is using a shadow bomb to make sure he gets up beside Dizzle, make sure they are together. They do still have that rift to go, so staying together right now is key. Just like that, using the rift to go to get out of a sticky situation. You love to see it.
Absolutely. One thing we do notice about West, which is kind of different from East, EU, OCE, and BR even, is that this current moment is a lot of people will stick to the Storm and actually take damage to push for that elimination. As we all know, it's one spot. You can play your best, but sometimes you have to play above your best potential as well, which is what Dizzle's trying to do, hovering out, seeing if he can kind of expose any possible angles near the backside of the Storm, getting into someone's box. Dizzle really low, finally going down, taking out one of the meta boys. He's going to see if his duo can clutch it out now. Jacob, where are you at?
Yeah, Jacob is absolutely on the other side right now. I don't even think he's going to have the opportunity to get Dizzle up. He does make his way over to him, but it is unfortunately going to be too late. Jacob is going to have to say, Dizzle, you're going to get left out in the Storm, literally. Here we have Rizzo here, and Brogster just taking out Bluey with the combat shotgun. We see this time and time again. These guns are so strong. The way that they are utilized by these players in both close combat as well as range when they are picking out kills from the sky. We have Brogster here looking for more targets, using the edits, staying close to his partner, who's also raining down shots. Shy, there's so much going on, the chaos.
It's insane. Brogster has that classic loadout as well, a gray AR and a combat with shields. Pookie, what do you think the type of pressure these guys feel when this is all they have? No backup, no riffs.
It's so difficult. You know, you have to be very aware of your surroundings. You need to know where every player around you is, because like we just see right here, if you have to waterfall down and get out, you need to know that there's nobody below you that's going to try and shoot you out or you know, possibly inflict any amounts of damage on you. But Fisco up at the top here, backup, his partner has actually been eliminated, so it is up to him. They have 3 eliminations, 20 points between the two of them. Fisco looking to make a couple of plays here, and he does! Ooh. On Rakori. Rakori goes down, is going to get taken out by the Storm. Unfortunately, gets eliminated there. Fisco saying, you know what, I'm going to net myself one more, Pookie. You don't know what you're talking about. I had 2, now I have 3.
One big thing about this game, too, is Baka was actually Fisco's duo who got heavy sniped by Jacob and his partner, and now the roles are reversed. Now they have high ground Pookie, which is insane. You can see the patience coming through, the use of mobility at the right times. Jacob nowhere to be seen anymore as Fisco runs away with the game. We now have a big action moment happening. Junkman Cutie gets Alec down. He gets cleaned up. Claps is coming up. He's still alive, actually. Finishes off on Alec. Claps gets bopped down by Boop. Big Boop's coming out. Fisco still on high ground. It's a 1v1 now. Boop 8D versus Fisco. Fisco with the health advantage. Boop going to be looking to tarp low ground and protect himself as much as possible. Fisco does have that med kit as well to use. He does have advantage. Going to start popping it now to stay a little bit stealthy in zone. Boop now moving up, seeing if he can capitalize or kind of get over that. Fisco set him up. It was a setup the whole time. He baited him out, wanted him to come out and see what's up. The L dance follows up as well. Really nice last-second judgment call from Fisco there. He could have got that med kit off, but decided to just straight up jump out, go for that shot. That was sick.
Boop got booped.
Boop got booped. Absolutely.
He did. But look at these builds. Absolutely wild. Whenever you see different points of elevation there on the map, you know these players are all going to be utilizing their materials to their fullest to make sure their rotations are strong. But here we are in the next match. We have Nolan here. We have Vibes on 60 hertz. Somebody get this man a 144 monitor. Come on.
Hey, sometimes these guys could be fronting, you know, you see that name in the feed, you might get over peak, and then they come straight out with their actual hertz and bop you up.
Oh, I like it. Puns. Is that a Canadian thing? Are puns a Canadian thing? Do you love puns too?
I love puns too.
You know, I'm infamous.
Hey,
my
really?
Pookie
Okay.
puns, right?
Pookie puns.
You know that?
Let's see if we can make
I feel like we need to try really hard right now. I know production loves when I make
Results, still one spot left for all of them. Spraying on metal might not be too effective. He does have the stinks here. Pookie, how would you think Vibes should use these stinks going forward into this game? What's the drawbacks of using them before and then after, later and earlier?
I mean, he knows that he has the down over there, but it doesn't matter. He ended up taking out Bucky anyway. The thing with stinks is you need to really be sure of when you're using them. You know, I know we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but the smaller the zone gets, the more effective they essentially become and the more damage they can inflict on your opponents, depending on where they are on the map. So if you're able to hold on to them and get eliminations in other ways, look at this. Going into this next zone, we have 39 players remaining. That's a lot of damage you can inflict with those stink bombs. So if you're able to really just utilize them closer to like the 7th, 8th, even 9th zone, you know, they're just going to be more and more powerful.
Exactly. You talk about other ways as well. Johnny making sure that he has his own box and lair set up, and then him and his duo, kind of unorthodox. I haven't really seen it too much before. Fire 2 layers up and pick up both parts of the duo that they ended up eliminating. A lot of stuff available for them as well to switch over to combat upgrades, drum guns for the end of the game, because as you said, the zone closes up. These close range guns, that's what pops off over and over again. They have the option of smokes as well. There's a rift being able to be taken by Johnny as well. We'll see if he can capitalize on that in this box, or just making sure everything is taken up, everything's being tallied, turrets being dropped and traded. There is a rift going on now as the zone just starts moving. There are 22 duels left alive, so placement is not up yet. You know, West is still pretty fat stacked. We'll see what these guys can get up to as the rift pops up.
Yeah, and you can see what he did there. He actually popped the rift and then picked up the shadow bombs there. So making sure that he isn't leaving a spot open in his inventory, fully utilizing all of the mobility he has. But look at all of these players here up in the sky. I think I counted over 10 of them are up there, just, you know, soaring through the sunset.
Yeah, another rift pops as well. Really good view on the sunset. Some people more sunnier than others. We'll see if they don't get lost in those clouds, as there are so many people landing. This is where, if you're in the middle of the pack, it's very, very hard to get your own definitive layer. So that's what everyone's going to be trying to do. These rings might also get in the way, these slipstream rings that are kind of disabled at the moment because, you know, a little bit of randomness happens here and there. It gets a little bit jumbled up. But now Johnny taking control of that high ground, pressuring an individual in zone. Legend now gets knocked down, his ranking going all the way down to novice or rookie. No more legend status for you there, my friend. Johnny now moving out 3 elims. Dade is still alive as well. They have this insurance with the smoke, so they can wait all the way up on height, be very, very generous with how much time they spend here, and then pop off when the moment seems just right.
Yeah, and there's still 29 players alive, so this is probably one of the most populated lobbies we've seen all day. Johnny utilizing his traps, placing them down there, saying, you know what, this is my high ground. You are not going to take it, because if you do, you're going to get my high ground, but you're also going to get 150 damage inflicted.
Yeah, exactly. 17 duels now left alive as the 16 are now left. One of them goes down. This next elimination batch of elims coming out is going to make it so that the 15 points of placement goes across the rest of the lobby as well. Still a lot of insurance available. They have a launch pad as well to use as they start cleaning up the server, going up all the way to 8 elims, 13 duels left alive now. Outer gets outed. He's gone. No more indoor soccer for you, my friend. You just got kicked out of the lobby.
I think I met my match for Pun quite honestly. I'm quite enjoying this. Whoever put us together on the cast, kudos to you guys. This is great. Here we have Johnny again, just utilizing his assault rifle there to just try and put as much pressure. He has the ammo for it, so why not? Why not try to get knocked just like that? Takes out bot turret. He goes down completely. We see him not being able to make it out of the zone, unfortunately. We have Typical Gamer on mid ground. Look at these Bolt boys. They're still up top, just raining shots down. Shy.
Yeah, we talk about knowing when to give up height, Pookie. These guys do not care at the moment. They have the advantage. They have the tools just in case it gets knocked down. It does not matter to them. They're going to try to exploit as much as they can, see if they can get any more angles on elimination. When do you think is the proper time to drop down from height, Pookie?
I mean, it really depends. If you know where people are on the map, if you know how many people are on low ground, how many are mid, and if you have anybody above you, just recognizing, you know, if there's other players that are fighting it out, you know, just utilizing that split second. It's really a split second decision, so it's hard to say, you know, when the right time is, but I would say A, knowing where everybody is on the map, and B, recognizing if there are people in fights. And here we see Zen just get taken out by Typical Gamer, not playing very typical to me at all, showing us that, you know what, he belongs here, he belongs in these qualifiers. But we have Johnny and Dade up top, still just taking out Syllable. He falls down, Vibes goes down in mid ground, and it looks to be now a 2v1v1, Shy.
Absolutely. If we look at these guys finally getting to drop down near the end of the 9th circle, Johnny looking for any shots while Dade plays up for insurance. Typical Gamer in a very sandwichy spot, but there is no yummy, scrumptious, delicious dessert for him today as he gets knocked. Sizer also going down at the very end. Johnny dropping down, doing all the work, while his duo Dade gets up there and gives him the info to play it out.
I love that. I love when you see duos split like that. They recognized that it was going to be a 2v1. So what they did was, like you said, drop down. One plays the close quarter combat, applies pressure that way. The other one stays up top, raining down shots from above. You have 2 angles of pressure. And being that solo player, you know, your chances are not high that you're getting out of that alive.
Not at all. It's always a rough spot. We're speaking about rough spots and looking at them. FaZe Jarvis here, who is at the moment no shields, less HP. than 100. Anything can kind of take him out. Just a head dink by an AK or anything that kind of touches him or breezes him is going to put him in a very more shambles position. Although, you know, when you're in these positions, your back's against the wall, that's where you start making these big desperate plays that players don't expect. A lot of loot available for them now. Tilt getting back up his shields all the way up to 24. He has a little bit of leeway now as well to play in with the zone. They have minis as well that Tilt takes. Jarvis kind of being left there stranded, but, you know, he's a good player. I know he can get it out. He can easily go out there, get some more elims, get his health topped off as well.
Yeah, it looks like Jarvis said, you know what, you take the minis. I'm just going to take this big shield here. Jarvis did pick up the RPG, but put it back down. So it's going to be interesting to see if they choose to pick that up. They may not have the ammunition for it, but in that position, Shai, do you pick up the RPG and just have it in your inventory, say over, for example, 2 bandages? Or do you just leave it and say, you know what, we're not going to see if we can pick up any more ammo. It's going to be a wasted slot. What do you do?
I mean, if you want to have a guarantee, if you want to just stick to your game plan and not get distracted, you know, tunnel visioning is a big thing that duos start to get into. Some people might play too much around the RPG. That's where practice comes in, right? Maybe these guys saw, and here we go, actually. This is another strat I was about to bring up. Sometimes you can carry the RPG, use all the rockets, and then take your bandages and be on with your day. But for the moment, it looks like they did find a few more rockets, are going to play off that RPG, giving away the bandages, making this their prime focus of utility. It's a very smart decision when players decide to keep one source of big bang momentum utility and then play around that, make that their win condition. And that's what Jarvis and Tilt are going to do, who are actually now looking a lot healthier in metal instead of brick now, in a very good spot to move out in the zone.
They're in an excellent position right now, but I really just have to point out here, we have 43 players alive, so the effectiveness of that RPG is going to be absolutely huge. When you have this many players in this small of a zone, it is chaotic, it is loud, shots are raining from everywhere, so utilizing this RPG and maybe, like you said, just dropping it later for other things might not be too bad of an idea when there are this many players vying for real estate on this map right now.
Yeah, they don't call it the Wild Wild West for no reason, as a lot of people are going to be switching layers. A big flick coming up from Jarvis. Holy moly, as he gets a nice head dink off. He gets Pepe off on rotation as well right before the launch pad. Him and Jarvis now going to be moving up Tilt. We'll see if he can pick up anything. Both players putting in the same amount of work as they find their own layer to pop off on.
Yeah, and you can see there Tilt actually utilizing the slipstream as cover. Did you see he was kind of floating down beside it because he recognized that there were players in front of him, and you can do that. They will block shots. It's a form of natural cover, so very, very high IQ play coming out of FaZe Tilt. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Exactly. It's all about being dynamic, seeing that 1 second decision and taking less than a second to confirm that decision. It saves you match, saves you health, saves you a lot of things. Now you can utilize that position, that advantage on HP, just as Tilt's doing here. Some shots coming in, but that reload, unfortunately, being something that stops him from the eliminations. Their top is going to get dropped down as they drop down as well. Tilt, Jarvis getting stuck in his own pyramid. Shadow bombs coming out. Luckily, someone did edit a door as they both jump out, hopefully sticking together. One of the big things duos have is getting lost on these rotation solo items where there's one person in a ball, one person in a shadow. But by week 10, this is where people are kind of used to everything. They've practiced with it a lot, and they just pop off. Tilt now looking for any angles with that heavy sniper to follow up with. Not sure where Jarvis is for the moment. 26 duels left alive as we get, or 26 players left alive, excuse me, as we get towards the placement points. Dard getting picked up from the backside of the zone. Tilt's going to be moving through, taking a bit of zone damage off of that as well. Will it be worth it? He's going to lose a lot of shield too, blocking someone off. Jarvis very low, gets eliminated. 15 duels now left alive, so Tilt did pick up those placement points along with a few elim points as Rex gets picked up as well, and it's coming down, not his floor though, on the edge of Storm. Destroyer carnage on the backside of zone as he destroys his opposition. Bumboy going down towards Stinks. Destroyer actually almost makes it out but falls to the Storm. Landon and Cortex on height now. Crayon going to be moving around a lot of different layers available, but it's actually kind of unique, Pookie. The height is not too high at the moment. What does that kind of spell for the rest of the game for those mid and low ground tarps?
I mean, it's much easier for them to know and recognize who is on high ground at that point, but they have to be very careful because it does not take much for Cortex or Landon to just make the play and make the decision to drop down. We talked about this a little bit earlier on. You know, these players on NA West, they are vying for one spot, so you're going to see these plays just like this where Cortex makes that split decision to just take out the box. That player does fall down. That was Flair. He is out of this game. We have a few people still in mid-ground, but we have Landon down at the bottom with Aldum. Aldum is by himself. He is by himself. Lucas got taken out earlier, so Synergy Aldum just by himself here. It is going to be a 2v1. Shy, we've seen it so many times before. Call this one.
Cortex and Landon on the top side of this storm. It is the 9th circle, so it will be closing out in about 50 seconds here. Can Aldum pull this together? He does have the mats, but can the mats survive the spray? Landon now going for a few angles, but Aldum sensing that drops down another layer. This is his last layer, though. Dodging that combat shotgun shot. Landon taking a little bit of zone damage and receiving some damage from Aldum in return as well. Cortex now has to be the brains of this group as he has the most shield. Will he drop down first? Will Landon play insurance? No, they're going to send Landon down. Nope, they're going down together actually, playing off of edits. Aldum finally taking 50 shots to his shields. His shields drop down. The 2v1 just perfectly played there. Did lose a little bit of HP on the initial push, but at the end of the day, these guys clean it up. Very nice janitorial services, and they get through with that game. Very dope.
Very well played by. There's so time we see the 2v1, my heart just sinks. I feel.
كانت البث والسلام عليكم.